Ready to unveil such mysterious information? Or ready to get to know that person bringing new information? Or ready to apply that information in our lives? This is, and welcome to the Talk with Vincent Tambis tonight. And this day is so exciting because we are going to unveil some information related to the mainstreaming and inclusion in terms of philosophy, teaching practices, services available, and student placement, and of course the meaning of differentiation and the difference between accommodations from modifications and when should we accommodate and modify. And lastly, the process of Universal Design for Learning or UDL. And this is to explain also by our guests for today. The King and Queen of Hearts are the love team of their generation, and the box office King and Queen, Mr. and Miss Danielle Padilla and Catherine Bernardo.
Hello, Tito Boy. It's really an honor to be here right now. And of course, with my girlfriend, Catherine Bernardo.
Yeah, now let's get to the exciting part of this show, which is the Q&A portion, which you guys will be answering, some of the questions that really might help us to us, of course, to the viewers that related to our main topic for today. So, are you guys ready? Okay, let the Q&A portion begin. What is the difference between mainstreaming and inclusion? And answer it in terms of philosophy, teaching practices, services available, and student placement. So, when it comes to the mainstreaming in the aspect of philosophy, the mainstreaming emphasizes integrating students with disabilities into irregular classrooms only for academic subjects with the belief that this exposure benefits both students with or without disabilities.
Okay, when it comes to inclusion in the aspect of philosophy, inclusion is a broader philosophy promoting the full participation of students with disabilities in all aspects of school life, fostering a sense of belonging, and addressing diverse needs with a regular classroom.
And we say mainstreaming in the teaching practices. Mainstreaming with the students with disabilities might spend part of the day in the regular classroom in a part of special education setting, receiving additional support tailored to their needs.
And Vincent Tambis, inclusion in the teaching process. Inclusion involves adapting teaching methods to accommodate diverse learning styles and provide support with a regular classroom to meet the ends or the needs of the students.
And when it comes to the services available, mainstreaming is somewhat an additional support services for students with disabilities, may be provided outside the regular classroom, often in resource rooms or special education settings.
And inclusion in the services available. Services are designed to be inclusive within the regular classroom, such as co-teaching models where our special education teacher collaborates with general education teacher.
And for the students' placement, mainstreaming is somewhat students with disabilities are placed in the regular classrooms for specific subjects, but maybe somewhat separated to others depending on their individualized education plan or IEP.
And inclusion and student placement, students with disabilities are placed in the same classrooms as their non-disabled peers for the entire school day, with necessary support and accommodations provided with that inclusive environment.
And in summary, mainstreaming focuses on integrating students with disabilities into regular classrooms for specific subjects, while inclusion is a more comprehensive approach that seeks to create a fully inclusive educational environment for all students. Second question, what is differentiation and how different are accommodations from modifications? When should we accommodate and when do we modify?
And Differentiation in education refers to the practice of tailoring instruction to meet the diverse needs of students. It involves adjusting the content, process, product, or learning environment based on students' readiness, interest, and learning profiles. The goal is to provide all students with opportunities to engage, understand, and demonstrate their learning effectively.
And now, Vincent Tambis, accommodations is, these are adjustments made to help students access the same content and demonstrate their learning without, fundamentally changing the curriculum. And accommodations somewhat provide support by altering the ways of students to access information or demonstrate their understanding without altering the learning expectations. And when to accommodate. Accommodations are appropriate when students can achieve the same learning goals with some adjustments. Let's say, for example, providing extended time for assignments or using assistive technology to support reading.
And modifications involve making changes to the curriculum itself, often adjusting the content, expectations, or assessment criteria. Unlike accommodations, modification involve altering what students are expected to learn or how they demonstrate their learning. And how do we modify? Modifications are considered when the standard curriculum is not appropriate for a student, even with accommodations. This might be the case for students with significant cognitive disabilities who need a modified curriculum to meet their individual needs.
That's exactly right, guys, and the decision to accommodate or modify depends on the specific needs of the student and should be informed by the assessments, individualized education plans, and ongoing communication between educators, students, and parents. And the goal is to provide an inclusive and supportive learning environment that allows all students to succeed at their own level. And for the third and last question, explain the process of Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. Now, for the UDL process, of course, we need to identify goals, methods, materials, and assessments. It is to define the learning goals, methods of instruction, materials, and assessments for a particular lesson or unit. Second, we need to analyze and remove barriers. So, identify potential barriers in the chosen goals, methods, materials, and assessments that may hinder some students' access to learning. Thank you.
And the third one is implement UDL principles. Apply the 3 UDL principles: representation, action and expression, and engagement to address and eliminate identified barriers to provide options that cater to diverse learners' needs. And the fourth one is assessment and reflection. Continually assess the effectiveness of the UDL implementation and reflect on how well the approach is meeting the needs of all learners. And the last one is adjust and iterate, to modify instructional methods and materials or assessments based on ongoing assessments or feedback. Iterate the process to continually improve accessibility and inclusivity. Yes, that's how important UDL is. UDL is an ongoing and a dynamic process that involves flexibility and responsiveness of the diverse needs of learners, promoting inclusive and supportive learning environment. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much, one and only Katrine Bernardo, our very own Danielle Padilla, for sharing your insights, knowledge, and somewhat new information that not just can really help me, but of course, they're very important, lovable viewers. Okay, thank you so much, Vincent Tambis, for having us here. And of course, it's really, somewhat a gratitude and opportunity for me to say thank you to my fans and thank you for, some other bashers continually supporting us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vincent Tambis, for having us here. And I'm very happy to share something with all my fans out there. Thank you so much.
And once again, this is Talk with Vincent Tambis tonight.